3, 2, 1, action!
Hi, and welcome to another Empathy Tales podcast episode. Today, we are going to be doing part 2. Jonathan Fehr is an author of an amazing book called Skyblind, and we got to hear chapter 1 from him last week, and this week we get to listen to him read his chapter 2. We are so excited to have him. He is an upcoming and rising star with his ability to create fantasy, sci-fi, and amazing descriptive characters and plot lines. This book is amazing for your young adults. If you are interested, you can purchase that specific book on Amazon. You can also hunt him down on his website. His last name is Fehr, and you can definitely find him also on social media. So if you are interested in connecting with him or learning more about him, you can definitely check him out online. And we will be doing part 3 next week, and so I hope you stay tuned to part 3. So I'm not going to hold us up anymore. I hope that you enjoy this Empathy Tale podcast episode, and I'll see you at the end of the episode. Thanks.
Hey again, it's me, fantasy author J.R. Fehr, and this is part 2 of my 3-part series reading the first couple chapters of my fantasy novel Skyblind. Now, hopefully you've heard the first part, and if not, I encourage you to go back and listen to it. But a quick recap. So we left Corwin and Taylor on the day of their birthday. They are our twin brother and sister, so they were born on the same day. They have their birthday, and their uncle, who is their guardian, who they live with, he received some kind of a gift from Corwin's best friend Treo earlier that morning. But Uncle Jael didn't want the kids to see it for some reason. The gift was apparently from Corwin and Taylor's mother, who passed away when they were babies, so they never really knew her. Of course, this makes it all the more curious. What kind of gift could it be, and how did Treo get his hands on something like that? Just a quick bit of background for you as well. Treo and Corwin are best friends, but Treo is in a very different category of wealth. See, he is the son of a lord of a castle that is right nearby, kind of the castle that protects the whole outskirts. So they became friends long ago, and Treo is definitely has resources available to him that Corwin and Taylor never did. So after Taylor took the box from her uncle, secretly of course, and her and Corwin opened it, they found inside a necklace that was the shape of a night wolf. A night wolf is basically a monstrous creature in this world. So it's very scary, and they're not sure why it was in this box. And when Corwin grabbed it, the eyes of the night wolf started to glow. So there you go. That's the recap. Now let's begin chapter 2, called Pliston's Magic. "This is all your fault," Corwin snapped at Taylor rather unnecessarily as he dropped the necklace. As soon as it left his fingers, the hissing sound stopped and the eyes of the night wolf turned black again. "My fault? Don't blame me. You made its eyes start glowing. It's probably an enchanted relic. Pick it up and see if you can make it shoot fire," Taylor exclaimed with glee. The panic was visible in Corwin's wide-eyed stare. "This is too funny," she thought to herself as she struggled to hide her amusement. "Are you crazy? Taylor, we have no clue what this does. We need to wrap it up before Uncle Jael gets home," said Corwin as he fumbled with the brown paper. We? As far as I can tell, you're the one who opened it. Uncle Jael's going to be so disappointed in you," Taylor teased with her arms crossed. Corwin shot her a dark look. "You wouldn't dare." Taylor couldn't contain herself, so she burst out laughing. "All right, take it easy," she said as she struggled to regain her composure. "It's really not that big of a deal." "Are you kidding?" Corwin failed to see the humor in any of this. "You stole a present, and now you're trying to blame it on me?" "It was a joke, Cor. I thought it would be funny to see you freak out. And guess what? I was right." Corwin struggled to find words. You're so immature. Help me wrap this up again. Why? She asked as she picked up the necklace and dangled it above the box. Aren't you curious? Trejo said this belonged to our mother. It was almost too good to be true. Over the years, Taylor had developed a knack for discovering things that others would rather keep secret. She attributed this primarily to her clever mind, general sneakiness, and an ability to widen her eyes in such a way that many seemed to find completely adorable. Knowing all manner of things was one of her many joys in life. But, much to her dismay, the truth of her own origins was one mystery that remained frustratingly impossible to solve due to Uncle Jael's unwillingness to speak on the subject. But not anymore. She smiled as she stared deeply into the eyes of the relic. This will change everything. No, I'm not curious at all, Corwin growled as he grabbed the necklace from her and stuffed it back into the box. Liar. Taylor watched with a smirk as Corwin attempted to rewrap the box with the brown paper that she had torn only moments before. When he was finally finished, it looked a little like something a child had wrapped. A blind child. Uncle is going to take one look at that and know that you opened it, Taylor giggled. I didn't open it! You did! Corwin exclaimed as he angrily flung the box on the table. Hey, calm down, angry man, Taylor smiled. Her brother hated it when she called him that. Without another word, Corwin pulled on his boots and stormed out the door. Where are you going? Taylor asked rhetorically as she scooped up the box and followed after him. Corwin was already several feet away, jogging across the yard and out toward the road that led to Crydor. Off to tell Uncle, Taylor amused as she chased after him. He's so predictable. As much as she loved to tease him, Taylor really did admire her brother. He was trustworthy and honest, and above all, he always tried to do the right thing. And as she suspected, he'd view the right thing in this situation as confessing that they opened the present. Fortunately, that was exactly what Taylor wanted him to do. Hey, hold up, Taylor hollered as she ran to catch him. Her brother was no longer jogging, but he still managed to walk at an unnecessarily fast pace. Don't try to stop me, Taylor. I'm telling Uncle, Corwin warned. What are you going to tell him? That we opened a birthday present Trejo brought for me? Sounds pretty silly, Taylor said. Corwin stopped and looked her straight in the eye. There was a reason why Uncle didn't let us have that present. Probably because he doesn't like Trejo, Taylor reasoned. What's the big deal anyway? Do you think he's really going to care? Yes, Taylor. Don't you remember what Uncle said? Obedience is a virtue. We can't pray for God's blessing and go around breaking the law. His voice quivered as he spoke. But Taylor recognized the fear behind his words. This is about Braid again. You know, Cyrus isn't going to let your sheep die just because you disobeyed, she spoke confidently. Our God is not vengeful. He's good. Good, yes, but above all, he's full of justice, Corwin reminded her, and resumed his pace down the road that ran parallel to their field. Taylor shrugged her shoulders and followed after him. Guess there's no talking you out of it. Getting Corwin involved in opening the present was a stroke of genius. Uncle Jael was sure to be more understanding when Corwin, the good, obedient child, confessed to breaking a rule. Forgiveness would come so much quicker, and with it, answers. This is too easy. They walked on in relative silence as they passed their sad excuse for a wheat field. The wheat was thin and sickly, and Taylor judged its quality to be slightly worse than the year before. It didn't make sense. No matter how much of their small harvest they offered at the local temple, their crops never saw much improvement. Uncle Jael often spoke of a time when Cyrus would fly over the land and spray the crops with some kind of magic that vastly improved their quality. But many years had passed since their god had last blessed the outskirts, and the wilted quality of the wheat was evidence of what many, including Corwin, perceived as God's indifference. Not Taily, though. She believed the drought was a time of testing and felt strongly that Cyrus was more interested in growing his children's faith through trial than he was in giving them everything that they wanted whenever they demanded it, even though that would be nice. She was contemplating that idea when she noticed 3 figures in the distance approaching them on the road. 2 were dressed completely in red armor. They were clearly knights from the Pinehouse Guard, but the one in the middle, wearing fancy clothes instead of armor, could only be Treo, she concluded with a smirk. Treo Sancton, a young man of average height with shaggy black hair, was not what one would expect when imagining the son of a lord, though what he lacked in physical stature he made up for with fine white shirt and brown leather vest. Taily would have recognized her friend sooner if it wasn't for the unruly facial hair sprouting an inch from his chin. "You really need to shave," Taily teased as he came into earshot. "Now you sound like my father," Treo groaned. "Off to Crydor for the festivities. Rumor is there's a sorcerer in town." "Sorcery is against the law," Corwin said in a voice that sounded unusually distant. "Exactly," Treo beamed. Receiving no response to his enthusiasm, Treo squinted his gray-blue eyes in suspicion before allowing a sly smile to overcome his face. "I guess I should be wishing you two a happy birthday. Feels good to be officially a man now, doesn't it, Cor?" Treo had turned 16 a few months earlier. I haven't had time to think about it really yet," Corwin admitted quietly. "Why is he being so awkward?" Taily wondered with irritation. Corwin and Treo were practically best friends, though they came from completely different worlds. Where Corwin and Taily were poor, Treo was rich, being the only born son of Ryo Sancton, a once successful merchant at the Crydor markets who used his wealth to acquire the title Lord of Pinehouse Castle. How they ever managed to become friends in the first place was still a mystery to Taily. "I don't know about Corwin, but I am quite excited about finally being 16, Taily interjected confidently. I'll bet," Treo replied as he turned his gaze toward her. "You may not officially yet be a woman in the eyes of the kingdom, but to me, you've always been a lady." The line was stilted and somewhat awkward. Taily tried to look amused, but inside she felt more uncomfortable than anything. "So where are you going, Trey?" Taily tried to change the subject and glanced at the 2 guards. They were standing unusually straight and stared blankly into the distance as if unaware that a conversation was taking place. Treo avoided eye contact and scratched the back of his head. Well, it's a little hard to explain. Basically, I was hoping to have a chat with your uncle." "Oh." Taily couldn't hide her smile. "About what?" "He brought guards with him to try to force Uncle to give me the present?" The thought was laughable. Picking up on her amusement, Treo tensed up. There was a misunderstanding earlier, and I was hoping to clear it up." "We know about the present you brought," Corwin blurted. Thanks for ruining the fun." Treo was stunned. "What? You do?" "Yeah, Taily found it and opened it already." Treo seemed unsure how to respond, and as much as Taily enjoyed watching him squirm, she was curious to know more about it. "Yeah, I saw you talking to Uncle," she explained. "Why did you say it belonged to our mother?" At this, Treo perked up. Because I overheard my father and Master Lunciar talking. They mentioned Kyla Medisto. That's your mother, right? Apparently she died giving birth to you two while she was in Pinehouse Castle." "We weren't born there." Corwin's voice wavered with uncertainty. "If that's true, why have we never heard this before?" Taily wondered. Master Lunciar was her favorite teacher, mainly because he was so knowledgeable and quirky, but also because she had secretly thought he might be grading her better than everyone else. Could he really have known my mother? Apparently you were born there, Treo continued. Master Lunchiar mentioned he still had her necklace in his vault, so I snuck in there and took it. Don't look at me like that. If it's your mother's, it belongs with her family, right? Corwin narrowed his eyes suspiciously. What else is kept in that vault? Oh, I don't know, mostly just random relics from my father's expeditions. And you didn't think it was a little strange that they kept a necklace in there with a bunch of relics? Treo shrugged. I assume it was kept there for sentimental value. I mean, it's just a necklace. The look on Corwin's face must have given them away, because as soon as Taylor made eye contact, Treo's grin faded. It is just a necklace, right? Corwin remained silent and looked uncomfortably at the ground. We're pretty sure it's some sort of relic, Taylor admitted. One that doesn't run on essence. Treo stared at them with disbelief in his eyes. There's no such thing as a relic that works without essence, he reminded them. Silence hung in the air. This one does, Corwin mumbled. Treo exchanged an amused look with one of his guards. Right, so what makes you so certain it's a relic? How did you activate it if you didn't use essence? It was an accident. It just turned on when I touched it, Corwin explained. You can't accidentally activate a relic, Corwin. And why would your mother own one in the first place? They're extremely rare and valuable. Treo frowned. Let me see it. Corwin shared a reluctant look with Taylor, who sighed in irritation before handing the box over to Treo. Treo stifled a laugh when he saw the poor wrapping job, carelessly tore some of the paper off with one hand, and flipped open the lid. Careful, Corwin warned, but it was too late. The torn wrapping paper was already drifting away in the wind. It looks exactly the same as when I first took it. Treo sounded disappointed as he tossed the box over his shoulder and held the Nightwolf pendant in his hand. The eyes were not glowing anymore. I'm not sure of anything, Corwin said as he put what he could salvage of the wrapping paper into his pocket. Well, why did you think it was a relic? Treo asked dismissively. The eyes glowed when Corwin touched it, and there was this weird hissing sound, Taylor explained. Why isn't it glowing anymore? Ooh, scary! Glowing eyes! What a powerful relic! Maybe you can use it to walk around in the dark, he teased as he dangled the Nightwolf from his fingers. Stop, Taylor shouted as she snatched the necklace from his disrespectful grasp. But as soon as she touched the pendant, the eyes of the Nightwolf started to glow, and the hissing sound returned. There! Ha! Told you, she stated proudly. Treo stared at her with wide eyes. How? That's what we're trying to tell you, man. It's weird, Corwin said. It's more than weird. Treo looked around nervously. I think this is not of Cyrus. Taylor's heart skipped a beat. All magic is from Cyrus. Not dark magic, Treo countered. I think this could be one of Pliston's relics. Pliston, the devil of darkness. His name used so casually sent a shiver down Taylor's spine. Suddenly she didn't feel so amused. You shouldn't say his name, Taylor spoke in a hushed voice. Treo laughed. I don't think the devil can hear us while we're out in the sun. I wish I knew that were true. A relic of Pliston's? Corwin's face went pale. That's impossible. So's a relic that doesn't run on essence, and yet here we are. Corwin scratched his head again. Look, whatever it is, you shouldn't have it. Give it to me and I'll put it back where I found it, he promised. Corwin nodded and looked at Taylor. Is he crazy? Taylor crossed her arms. No. Corwin's eyebrows raised in alarm. Taylor, just give him the necklace. No. This belonged to our mother. Plus, it's a gift, and you can't just take back gifts. Corwin sighed and took a step toward her. You heard him. We could get in a lot of trouble for this. We don't even know for sure where it came from or what it does. It could contain dark magic. Trey can help. There's no proof that dark magic relics even exist. And besides, I thought you wanted to talk to Uncle Jael. What happened to confessing? Taylor reminded him sternly. Don't forget where we're going. Corwin took a deep breath. We will still confess, but we don't need the necklace to do that. Treo is the one who stole it out of the vault. Uncle Jael will be happy to know it was returned. In my defense, Treo interjected, it wasn't really stealing since I kind of indirectly owned the vault. Taylor pressed her lips together and confronted Corwin directly. Uncle Jael took it away from Treo. He won't be happy if we just gave it back. This belonged to our mother, she wanted to scream. Uncle Jael stopped Treo from giving it to me. Why? Did he believe it contained dark magic? And why would our mother want to have a relic like that anyway? There were just too many unanswered questions, and this relic was too valuable just to give back. You got a better suggestion? Treo asked. Fine. Corwin's right, Taylor conceded. We shouldn't have opened the box. It was foolish. But we can't change that now. We have a responsibility to take it back to Uncle Jael and let him explain what it all means. Maybe he'll explain the connection to our mother. Corwin was visibly pleased to hear her admission, but still remained guarded. Uncle Jael has never talked about our mother before, he said. I don't know why you think this relic will change anything. It will, Taylor asserted confidently. It has to. Corwin released the tension in his clenched jaw and shared an uneasy look with Treo, who remained captivated by the eyes of the relic, which continued to glow. I guess we don't really have any other option, Corwin reluctantly agreed. Trey, come with us? We'll talk to my uncle first and see what he knows. After, I'm sure he'll happily want you to return it. Deal? Treo shifted uncomfortably. Look, just keep it hidden, all right? If anyone busts us with its eyes glowing like that, I'm not sure how much help I can be. Corwin nodded gratefully. Can we please go now? Uncle's probably already made it to town. Taylor was impatient. They'd already wasted too much time debating as it was. What about... Corwin inclined his head toward the two guards, who still hadn't moved. Oh, don't worry about them. They're mutes. They have no tongues? Corwin asked in surprise. Treo smiled as they resumed walking down toward the Crydor markets. I should clarify. By mutes, I mean they're paid quite well to remain silent. Taylor faked a laugh. Although she was happy that they were finally moving, she couldn't shake the uncomfortable feeling that her mother's relic might actually contain dark magic. Whew, all right, well there you go. That is the end of chapter 2. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed reading it to you, and I look forward to sharing part 3 with you next time.
Well, I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Jonathan Fehr was the one who was reading his chapter 2, Skyblind. So this is pretty exciting to have an author showcased on Empathy Tales. This is the first time I've done this, and I think it's a pretty awesome thing to have authors come onto our podcast that celebrate empathy and care and kindness through their characters and plot lines, and that's exactly what Jonathan has done. As I mentioned to you earlier, he has written a book called Skyblind, but in addition, he has written 2 other books, The Magician's Workshop Volume 1 and The Magician's Workshop Volume 2. Well, it would be awesome for you to check him out. Connect with him on his social media. You can even go to my social media and check out some of the tweets and posts and Instagram posts I've done so that you can learn more about him and what the amazing things he's doing. Well, I'm going to wrap up now. It's been an awesome episode, and if you want to reach out to me, connect with me at mykidslocker.com. This is Victoria Wolders. I'm a mother, I'm a teacher, and I'm a moonshot thinker. And on top of that, I am an educational storyteller. And so today we were celebrating Jonathan's writing pieces, and we will be celebrating him again. So stay tuned for part 3, which will be released next Saturday, and I hope we will see you again soon. But until then, I hope you create compassion, one story at a time. Thanks so much.
3, 2, 1.